your 2014 champion, Stephanie Howe.
Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Stephanie Howe. Let me start over. Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Stephanie Howe before the 2015 Western States 100. You're the defending champ, Stephanie.
Yep.
How you feeling about that?
It's exciting. I don't know. It maybe makes me a little more nervous this year than last year, but I mean, it's really cool.
And you're coming back with actually some 100-mile experience now.
I know. I'm a veteran, sort of.
What did you learn in your first 100-miler last year?
I learned, and going into it, I wanted to be patient and just kind of really take care of myself, and I think that paid off. So I learned that I should repeat that.
Okay.
And it just, 100 miles is much different than 50 miles.
So a lot of people who maybe run their first 100-miler, especially on the elite side, do go patiently and are under control wisely. And then the next time they do get the inkling to push it a little bit harder. Yep. Is there a little bit of that in there?
I'm a little worried that there is a little of that. But I think I'm still terrified of 100 miles. It's a long ways to run. So I'm hoping to keep that in check, at least for the first part. This year I've pushed a little bit more in the shorter distances, and that's been going well. But I think this is still, patience is going to pay off.
Will you change any of the other aspects of your racing from what you learned last year?
Nutrition, a little bit. Just it was interesting to me how much the heat affected what I wanted and didn't want. So that's, last year I had like 10 options, and I came into an aid station. It was like, I don't know, I have all these options. So now we're just keeping it simple. I know there's like 3 things I'm going to take, and I'll just have those 3 things, and then there won't be any other options.
That is a classic adjustment for people running their first 100 or in running in general. But running 100 miles, you can pack, not just with food, but gear and everything. You're like
5 pairs of shoes. And my poor crew last year, I had 3 different pairs of shoes that they brought to every checkpoint. And I wasn't going to change shoes. Sorry, guys.
I'm laughing because I remember that experience. Exactly. Western States was my first. Tarp laid out with
this year it's a little more dialed. I feel I know what to expect, and so it's easier to plan, whereas before it was this unknown. So it was like, well, what if I need this, or what if I need this? And now I'm like, okay, these are the basics, and let's just
So what did you pare down on, say, the gear side, or the
I will just maybe have 1 pair of shoes that I don't know if I'll probably have my crew take 1 pair, and then the food options are much smaller. And other than that, I don't have like this jacket or this shirt or switch into this pack or these handhelds or, this concoction of fuel. So it's just the basics.
Just go run, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just run. Like less is more. And I think for me, especially when I start adding too many elements, I get really anxious. I get nervous. And when I keep it really simple, it's like, this is just a long run in the mountains.
Have you kept the crew and pacer situation more or less the same, or?
Yeah, sort of. So my crew, one of my best friends, Elisa Chang, she comes with me to every race, and she's in Spain. So I have a little bit of anxiety that she's not going to be here. She always braids my hair the night before, and we just have it dialed. But the minister, or the pastor who married Zach and I at our wedding, he's going to be my crew.
Really?
Yeah, he's not a minister by trade. He is a good friend, and he's a runner, and he's going to be great. And then Zach is pacing me. So he knows me.
He knows you.
Yeah.
How is you won out at Lake Sonoma not too long ago?
Yeah.
How have things gone since then?
Good. Ups and downs as with training. I had a few more obligations this spring than last spring, and so maybe my training wasn't, I don't want to say as good, but it was different.
Yeah.
I'm a different runner this year. I've definitely had some different focus. I just feel like my body's in a different place than it was last year, and it just is what it is. So it's good though. I feel fit and I'm ready.
Now you have another first timer in the race this year.
Yep.
With Magda Boulet, obviously a very big unknown and a very fit person.
Yes.
How have you stacked up in racing her in the past?
We've only raced each other once. It was at the North Face 50 mile, and she beat me quite solidly. So that was 50 miles though, and this is a different type of race. I really respect her as a runner. I don't think, there's people who are new to a distance and you kind of don't worry about them too much, but I think I really respect her, and I think she's very smart in how she's prepared. So I think she's going to do well.
So maybe a sort of run like you last year.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
possible.
I mean, yeah, I think she has the potential to do that, and I really like her as a person. We've gotten to know each other, so if she runs away with it, I'm going to be really happy for her.
Do you think she's probably the main person who could be up front with you if you're at the head of the race?
I do. Yeah, I think she will be. There's no doubt in my mind that she is going to be there. It'll just be a matter of how it plays out. I think, I'm going to start conservative for me. Like, I'm going my pace. I think there will be people ahead of me. There'll be some rabbits.
There will be some rabbits.
Yeah, and I don't know if Magda will go with them. If she does, hopefully I'll see her later. But I think she's going to be really smart.
I mean, if I were her, I'd probably just sit right here.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if that happens, like, I'm really excited to run with her. Like, it'll be great. Like, I love the beginning of a race to just run and chat, and I don't know, that'd be fun.
You seem really excited and
Yeah, I am excited. Once as it gets closer and closer, I have less anxiety and more excitement about this. And I've said in my written interview, like, coming back as the defending champion is tough, but for me it's more than just a race. It's like I'm so drawn to this, just being here and the excitement and the history and the people. I just have so much passion for the race. So even if I don't have the race of the day, like, it's not my day, I'm gonna be happy, just to be here, to start this journey and to cross the finish line.
So you think you'll be able to, if need be, to switch the focus and the goal and enjoy the experience no matter what it is? I
think so. Enjoy. Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I just want to get to the finish, and whatever that journey is going to be, hopefully it's a good one, but if it gets really tough, I'm in it. That's important too.
Awesome. Well, best of luck out there,
Thank
Stephanie,
you.
and enjoy your race.
Thanks.
All right. Little bonus conversation here. Stephanie, last year you ran Western States and won, and you tried, I didn't know at the time, but you had tried something that's completely new, Cliff Organic Energy Food. What did you take and when?
So it was kind of interesting how it all happened. We had, as one of the athletes, I got to test some of this product, and I happened to test it on the Western States Memorial Camp run, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, can I get some of this for States? And it hadn't been released yet. So I had these white pouches, unlabeled pouches, that I had stuck in my pack, sweet potato and pizza margarita. And, everyone, like, my crew had to be really secretive about it. I couldn't really talk about it, but it was awesome because it was this savory fuel. And so I started taking it probably about 15 to 20 miles into the race, and I just alternated it the whole time. So I would do a savory pouch, and then I would do the gel and the blocks, and then back to savory. And it just really helped keep me from getting palate fatigue, and just keep me kind of looking forward to the next thing, I just had savory, so now I can have sweet. And especially when it got really hot, it was just such a reprieve from the sweet stuff. And I really think it helped me in the race because I didn't really get behind on fueling, so I was able to just keep getting stuff down.
And did you actually took the savory ones on the trail with you as well?
I did, yeah, I did.
So Tara works at Cliff. Can you tell us a little bit how the idea came up for Cliff Organic Energy Food?
Yeah, so Cliff Organic Energy Food really came out of the idea of athletes wanting something a little bit simpler, using real food. You go to aid stations and you see a lot of the salted potatoes, even sweet potatoes sometimes, pretzels, things like that, and on the savory side. So really it was working with athletes like Steph and Scott, and they helped us to hone in flavors, as well as the bringing in some of the science as well. So nutrition science is also part of what we do. So it's bringing in the real food ingredients along with the necessary nutrients that athletes need out on the course.
So how did you guys come to a ratio or formula in terms of like the balancing of nutrition. Obviously, there's salt in the savory ones, but in terms of carbohydrates versus fiber versus some fat or protein in the mix.
Yeah, so we came up with 2 sweet and 2 savory, and the sweet are more like gels. They're fruit-based, kind of based on smoothie flavors, the things that Steph makes in her kitchen, and we made it very portable and easy for runners to take out with them. And you can alternate them with gels. It has a little bit different taste and texture, which is nice, when you're out there eating gels and blocks, and you just want to break that up, right? And then we have the 2 savory that are higher in calorie, a little bit bigger. They also have protein, carbohydrate, and fat. So those, that fat and protein is something you don't see in gels and blocks and the sweet. But when you're out there for more than 6 hours at a time, that fat can actually help with some of the stomach GI issues that folks are having. It also helps with a little bit of satiation, so helping keep hunger at bay. I know when I'm out there running, the hunger comes in, and it kind of makes you feel a little bit nauseous. So those are things we can.
So that maybe the fat and a little bit of the fiber change the ratio. It's not so much for the energy component, but it's for feel and comfort to some degree.
Yeah, and different. Again, it provides a little bit different mouthfeel. So along with the savory flavors, we get also higher sodium. So you're breaking up with mouthfeel and higher sodium content. Pizza margarita and sweet potato sea salt, you're getting around 600 milligrams of sodium in each of those pouches, where you don't really get that much in gels and blocks.
Now, on the sweet potato sea salt side, it's pretty simple to figure out what the basic formulation is. But for getting pizza in a little plastic pouch, how did you guys?
Pizza's my favorite flavor.
I love it. I'm asking because
it's like amazing.
So first of all, the first thing I look at when I say we have a pizza margarita flavor is the expression on people's faces, and some people are like, yes, and other people are like, pizza. Well, we recommend that you be like into your run about 3-4 hours into it, because that's when it's going to taste the best, and it breaks up that sweet. Where did we get to that pizza flavor? Well, there's some cheesy notes coming from a little bit of yeast. There's tomato puree in there, and other natural seasonings in there. So it just works.
Yeah. So now you've had a year or a little over a year to consume organic energy food on your runs.
Yeah.
Have you tweaked how you used it at all?
A little bit. I mean, there's like the 4 pouches now, so there's more options, so that's kind of nice. I definitely keep the same routine of going sweet to savory, but it'll depend on like the temperature. So if I'm going to go for a really warm run, I know that I'm going to want the savory. If it's cool, I sometimes crave the sweeter. So they actually do taste like a smoothie. I call them my smoothies, and those seem to go well when it's a little bit cooler for me. But I mean, I just kind of use them, as I feel like, what sounds good. So I think that's your body's way of telling you a little bit what it needs.
So coming from sort of a well-informed nutrition background, making the choice is as much a desire for sort of consumption, a motivation to consume,
right,
as opposed to sort of the exact components.
Well, kind of both. I mean, I'm it's really important to me what I'm fueling with, and there's 2 parts to that. One, I think the nutrition profile is really important. So you want something simple so it can get in, across your gut, into your blood, so you can use it for energy. But then 2, if it doesn't taste good, you're not going to get it down. So to me, even if you have this ideal product, if it doesn't taste good, you're not going to really use it. So for me, it has to really taste good too, so that when I'm running and my appetite is really suppressed, I can take something and be okay with it. So kind of both of those are important. And then one thing that I wanted to mention is on the Ultra study last year that looked at the incidence rates of GI distress. And this is observational study. Yeah. But one of the things that they found was the runners who took in a little bit more fat and protein had less GI distress than those who just took carbohydrates. So I think in a 100-mile run, like Western States, something like the savory pouches are going to be a really good option.
Now, do you have a general, you know, I don't want to say ratio, I guess, in terms of like maybe how many gels and, you know, per shot blocks you'll have, and then have a savory one? Or
I'll try to do at least either two gels or a package of shot blocks an hour, plus a savory pouch.
okay,
So I aim for 300 calories an hour.
so 200 from sweet and 100 from, I mean, plus or minus 100 from,
Yeah, and that'll, you know, get tweaked as the day goes on, sometimes later in the day. You know, I'm so weird with, like, sometimes it's like gels and then sometimes like no blocks. So it's like, you know, it's just kind of feel it out a little bit, but that's my plan right now, and then switching flavors.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome.